Welcome to Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your ROH results for August 17, 2020. Birthdays for the week set on the 17th. Rahisha Saeed, 1982. Paige, 1992. August 18th birthday, Tom Pritchard, 1959. Lillian Garcia, 1966. And rounding out birthdays, Velveteen Dream on the 19th, 1995. Brother Devon at Testify Devon on Twitter posted my beautiful firstborn daughter pictures turned 2 years old. I can't put into words how you came into the picture and put this family right back on track. You have brought so much love and joy into your lives. We thank God for you. We love you and honor you. And on this day, happy birthday, Chalia. And yes, it's a mixed marriage. Ring of Honor has released a statement about the passing of former Ring of Honor World Champion Xavier, a.k.a. John Bedoya. Xavier was Ring of Honor's second World Champion. He last wrestled in Ring of Honor in 2007. He was scheduled to make his ring return this past March to wrestle Jay Lethal at Ring of Honor Past vs. Present. But the event was canceled due to the coronavirus pandemic. There was a report that Sonya Deville there was an arrest made in front of her apartment. From the report I read, stated that she was, that was a neighbor, that they were trying to break in, and what have you. Well, anyways, Philip A. Thomas II, age 24, from South Carolina, was arrested outside of the home of Sonya Deville. Real name, Daria Baronato. Early on Sunday morning, according to the Tampa Bay Times. He's charged with aggravated stalking, armed burglary of a dwelling, attempted armed kidnapping, and criminal mischief. Thomas is being held without bail. According to police, Thomas had begun planning the abduction 8 months ago. Early Sunday morning, he waited on the property for 3 to 4 hours, where he cut a hole in the patio screen to listen and watch until the homeowner went to bed. He then entered through a sliding glass door, which activated an alarm. Police said Thomas was spotted by the homeowner, who left with a guest in a car, and also called 911. The report continued that Thomas was still on the property when police arrived and was carrying a knife, plastic zip ties, duct tape, mace, and other items, and told deputies that he was planning to take the homeowners hostage. Our deputies are unveiling the suspect's disturbing obsession with this homeowner, who he had never met, but stalked on social media for years. Sheriff Chad Chronister said in the news release, "It's frightening to think all of the ways this incident could have played out had the home alarm not gone off and alerted the homeowner of an intruder." Well, both victims could have been done with. Philip A. Thomas, second report, more into it, from South Carolina, arrested outside a home of Sonya Deville. After that report, Thomas was sitting with him. After that report, Sonya Deville took to Twitter to release a statement about the harrowing incident. "Thank you, everyone, for your love and concern. A very frightening experience, but thankfully, everyone is safe. A special thank you to Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office for their response and assistance." Okay. More on Thomas. A 24-year-old male from South Carolina arrived in Florida around midnight Sunday morning and parked his car at Deville's home in the parking lot of the Idlewild Church off Dale Mabry Highway and Van Dyke Road in Lutz, Florida. Thomas walked to a nearby subdivision where Deville's home is, and then cut a hole in her patio screen and waited for hours watching and listening through windows. We call that peep show, Peeping Tom. Not just his name, I guess. Peeping Tom watched as DeVille went to bed around 2:45 a.m. and then tried to enter the home through a sliding glass door, which triggered DeVille's security system, and DeVille looked out the window to see Thomas on her property. She and the guest immediately left the home in a car and called 911. Police arrived and found Thomas still in the home. He was found in possession of the knife, zip ties, mace, duct tape, and other items. Thomas admitted to police that he planned to take the homeowner, DeVille, hostage. He also admitted to planning the crime for the last 8 months. Thomas' social media pages indicated that he was obsessed with DeVille and had been trying to interact with her for some time and had interacted with some of her fans. A jail booking sheet notes that Thomas works at an Applebee's where he is from. Our deputies are unveiling the suspect's disturbing obsession with the homeowner, who he had never met, but stalked on social media for years. Sheriff Chad Chronister said in a news release, for those who miss it, DeVille took to Twitter on Sunday and issued a statement on the incident. Read the entire report at this link and what happened and find out who was with DeVille later, who was also in the storyline. None other than Mandy Rose. WWE Intercontinental Champion AJ Styles returned to his Twitch stream earlier this week to discuss two of his favorite things, pro wrestling and video games. One viewer asked AJ for some advice when it comes to starting out in the pro wrestling industry, and AJ told the fan to ask himself a number of questions before committing to a training program. I was able to find a school that wasn't that expensive, and I wish I could tell you how great that school was at the time, but it really wasn't. AJ stated, it really wasn't that good. I didn't learn much, but I was able to get into the ring much sooner than I should have. And I was able to learn a lot faster because I was in the ring wrestling with other guys. So if you're looking for a school, research them. He continued, research them all. You know, what are you willing to do? What are you willing to pay? Do you know any guys that went to that school? Does that school have the ability for you to get in and wrestle? Like, does that school run shows? To me, that's important because when you're done training, you have a place to run shows and have a place to wrestle. AJ also noted that any person who is interested in the pro wrestling industry should expect to get hurt often. He recalls the first time he hit the ropes and just how painful that experience was to him. You can't be afraid of injury. You can't be afraid to get hurt. There's injured, obviously, and there's getting hurt. You're going to get hurt, so I'll emphasize. You're going to hit those ropes if you haven't already. And you're going to go, oh my God. I remember that was my reaction. Like, oh my God, what? Why this hurts? AJ is recognized as one of the single greatest performers of his generation, with legends like The Undertaker even giving him praise during his recent Last Ride documentary. But AJ revealed that if MMA had been popular as a competitive sport when he graduated high school, he likely would have never started pro wrestling. If MMA would have been as popular as it is now, I would have been one of those guys right out of high school, probably right into MMA school, learning everything and doing it. AJ admitted, there's no question. But you're talking about kids nowadays that are, like I said, right out of high school, jumping into this or earlier. So they've got a leg up on everybody. They've been training for a while. With the legacy he has created in the square circle, the name AJ Styles is known around the world for memorable matches he has delivered. AJ admits it. He's a bit surprised he's kept his AJ Styles ring name through the majority of his career. That's the incredible thing about AJ Styles, is I've been able to keep it everywhere I've been. AJ noted, once I had it. Now, there's been a time, one match, I was called Air Styles in WCW. But thank God that didn't last. I hated that name too. I mean, they may have went with that the whole time too. Air Styles. That was incorrect, because if you looked at my some of my favorite videos of wrestlers and other companies that you didn't know of, well, he wasn't in WCW, and he was not called Air Styles. It did say AJ Styles. If you guys have ever seen the woo-off between Ric Flair and Jay Lethal, it was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen, and it was off the cuff. AJ explained they had what they were going to go with, and then Rick goes off script. Jay goes off script too. And we're left there to keep from laughing in the ring with Rick. And me, Frankie Kazarian, James Storm, and Bobby Roode. And it's almost impossible to not laugh. I mean, it was unbelievable. When he was still part of TNA Impact Wrestling, AJ was present during the unforgettable woo-off. Okay, Wrestling Inc. has learned that former WWE NXT star Dan Matha, formerly known as Dorian Mak, was arrested on Monday in Orlando, Florida. Early on Monday. I didn't get the news till Tuesday while I'm doing this video. Tuesday night after work. Well, Matha, age 32, was charged with failing to appear in court, which is a first-degree misdemeanor. It's currently not known what he was originally scheduled to appear in court for. Matha was released by WWE in April as part of the company's massive layoffs and furloughs. Before he was released, Matha was involved in a car accident where he was ejected through his car window. Matha last wrestled at an NXT Live event on March the 7th in Orlando, where he was defeated by Tyler Breeze. Advertised on ROH ThunderDome begins on SmackDown this week. Also confirms that they are moving to the Amway Center for further events. I briefly discussed that on last week's SmackDown video. Now, how do you watch WWE ThunderDome? I'm going to give you a little bit of detail on that too. Because if you have watched NBA, and if you watch Major League Baseball, it's just like watching it on TV. Because you can see the digital screens in the crowd instead of actual people. So you're going to be virtualized on the live shows. Yeah, it's supposed to be live this coming Friday night. Alright, how to watch WWE ThunderDome. WWE ThunderDome is debuting during SmackDown on Friday the 21st of August at 1 a.m. on BT Sport 1 and will be used for every Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, and WWE pay-per-view event for the near future. And then on. And this confirms Amway Center events through the end of August. Saturday, August 22nd, NXT TakeOver 30 from Full Sail University at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the WWE Network. Sunday the 23rd, SummerSlam, Amway Center, 7 p.m. or 6 p.m. Central Time. Monday Night Raw, August 24th, Amway Center, 8 p.m. or 7 p.m. our time, Central Time. 1 a.m. BST. On the USA Network, on BT Sport 1 HD in the UK. Wednesday the 26th, NXT from Full Sail, 8 p.m. or 7 p.m. our time. Friday SmackDown, August 28th, Amway Center on Fox. Sunday the 30th, Payback pay-per-view. So you get back-to-back weeks of pay-per-view from the Amway Center at 7 p.m. on the WWE Network. Monday, actually, that would be 6 p.m. Central Time. Monday, August 31st. Monday Night Raw, Amway Center, 7 p.m. Central Time on the USA Network. Now, how to get tickets for WWE ThunderDome. Of course, you go to WWE.com. Fans can sign up to be a part of the virtual crowd at upcoming WWE shows from tonight, being Tuesday, August 17th, onwards via the WWE website, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter pages. What is WWE ThunderDome? ThunderDome is a brand new set on which NXT TakeOver, SummerSlam, Monday Night Raw, and Friday Night SmackDown will be taking place. The new stadium, which is set up at the Amway Center in Orlando, brings fans into the arena by live video on huge LED boards, like I said, TV screens, to further enhance viewers' stay-at-home experience. So, you want to pay to watch it on your webcam devices? Go ahead and pay for it. And it is also a closed set with only essential personnel in attendance. So I guess they are not having the local enhancement talents in the crowd there anymore. It's also been installed with pyrotechnics, lasers, cutting-edge graphics, and drone camera to recreate the interactive in-arena atmosphere. SummerSlam Go-Home edition of Raw saw Zelina Vega as revealed as the one who poisoned Raw Tag Team Champion Montez earlier this month, a few weeks back. Storyline revealed came after Ford's partner, Angelo Dawkins, noted that due to recent actions by Retribution, WWE officials have been going through hours of security camera footage, and that footage was a shot of Vega slipping something into Ford's signature red cup weeks before. Video from the segment can be seen, and you can go to WWE.com to see that. Because it was also on Raw. The reveal storyline on Raw included 2 singles matches. Angel Garza defeated Ivar, and Ford defeated Andrade. Ford's wife, Bianca Belair, ended up appearing at ringside during the match with Andrade. Vega dove at Belair from the apron, but was caught and slammed on the floor. Belair defeated Vega in a singles match earlier this month, but it speculated that we will get another match between them now that Vega has been revealed as the one who poisoned Ford. But shouldn't legal actions be pressed? But it's entertainment. WWE has reportedly discussed the potential introduction of a Raw Underground title belt now. No word yet on if WWE will begin using a Raw Underground title, but at Belt Fan Dan reports that the idea of a title for Shane McMahon's new concept was pitched at one point. It was noted that suggestions for the Raw Underground title included a design that will look beat up like the WWE Hardcore title, with spray paint and simulated brick texturing. For those that care, Underground losers revealed, as they were not named on the show. Second generation star, Kobe Carino. Yep, he's the son of Steve Carino from ECW days, as well as Impact days. He appeared on this week's Raw episode for a Raw Underground segment. Carino is an enhancement talent that lost to Eric of the Viking Raiders in the first Raw Underground fight of the night. And you can see it in this link. Kobe is the son, like I said, son of pro wrestling veteran Steve Carino, who has worked for as a WWE Performance Center coach since 2017. He also works as a WWE NXT producer. This was not Kobe's WWE TV debut, as he previously worked March 4th, 2019, 205 Live episode. Kobe was set to face Mike Kanellis that night, but Kanellis attacked him before the bell. Popular Indies women's wrestler also made her debut, Brandy Lauren, female competitor who tapped out to Marina Shafir in one of the last night's Raw Underground segments with the women, the Four Horsemen. for horsewomen. Lauren, who usually competed for WWN Live and Shine Wrestling, made several NXT appearances as an extra in 2019. She appeared as one of Damian Priest's girls earlier this year on the February 26th NXT episode. And at this link, you can see clips of Corino and Lauren from Raw Underground Week 3, as well as the indie wrestlers and enhancement talents for the work shoot style fights since the first week. The male extras were Alex Paz, D. Ramos, Romeo Quevedo, Garrison Spears, Nick Stanley, Mike Reed, and Liam Gray. Female extras were Avery Taylor, Jamie Jamison, Sophia Castillo, and the Go Hard Life Twins, Laurie and Lindsay Carson. And on with your Raw results. Raw was up with the Then, Now, and Forever video that is experiencing some technical difficulties, like the work of Retribution, but we cut to the normal Raw intro video. Live from the tape delay for the Performance Center, and Tom Phillips welcomes us to the show. He's chimed in by Byron Saxton and Samoa Joe. Tom apologizes for the technical difficulties and mentions concern over Retribution. WWE NXT developmental trainees cheer in the crowd as the announcers hype tonight's SummerSlam Go Home edition of Raw. Rey Mysterio is rumored to return. Shayna Baszler and Asuka will face the Golden Role Models in a non-title match. Also, WWE Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels is here to address Randy Orton. We go right to the ring. Out comes the WWE Champion Drew McIntyre to a pop. Drew enters the ring, and we get a lengthy video package showing how Randy Orton attacked Hall of Famer Ric Flair last week. Drew says what Orton did last week was completely unforgivable. Orton brutalized Flair. Drew goes on about how great Flair is, pointing to how he's a 71-year-old man who was close to Orton, but Orton just kicked him in the skull after he poured his heart out. Orton is pure evil. Drew says Orton isn't facing a defenseless old man at SummerSlam. He's facing a severely pissed off, fire-breathing Scottish dragon. And he's going to hurt Orton, not just for Flair, but for everyone Orton has wronged in his entire career. We get more technical difficulties with the broadcast now as random graphics start flashing over the screen while Drew goes on talking about Orton's history with WWE Hall of Famer Mick Foley that gets cut off. As it gets cut off backstage to the production truck. Retribution is in the truck with baseball bats, NWO style. Masked male and female attackers start destroying parts of the equipment and bullying the production workers. One guy is held against the wall. A masked man yells at him to cut the show off, and he finally gives in, pressing several buttons and switches, and finally gets one, and it goes dark. Raw goes back and straight to a commercial. Back to the break, Drew McIntyre is back with a group of superstars in a locker room. Titus O'Neil, Ricochet, Cedric Alexander, Mustafa Ali, the Viking Raiders, Akira Tozawa, Rick Moss, Humberto Carrillo, and a few others. Titus asks Ric Flair if Ric Flair is okay, and he is. Drew goes on about Randy Orton and then Retribution. He says he doesn't appreciate it when people come in his backyard and crap on others, which is what Retribution is doing. He proposes that they band together and do something about the new faction. Seth Rollins and Murphy walk up. Rollins mocks Drew and says, as the Messiah, he's already the locker room leader. Drew says he's been trying this for years now, and if they're not respecting him by now, it won't happen. Rollins says being champion doesn't make Drew a leader or a teacher. Rollins says he was the first to teach Drew about being a champion, like he taught Dominic Mysterio how to be a WWE superstar. Ricochet says Seth is about to get a receipt for what he did to Dominic. Ricochet and Cedric both heard Rey Mysterio will be here tonight, but Seth doesn't believe it. Drew asks if Rollins is scared. Rollins isn't because he knows how to protect himself and others around him. Seth says Drew couldn't even protect Flair last week and needs to get his proprieties priorities right, or he will lose the WWE title at SummerSlam. The reporter did not get it right. They said proprieties. But anyways, lose the title at SummerSlam. Drew threatens to drop Rollins and shoves him. The others calm things down, and Rollins leaves with Murphy as Ricochet tells Drew he's not worth it. We go back to the ring outcomes of the Hurt Business, MVP, Bobby Lashley, and Shelton Benjamin. MVP says, while Drew and McIntyre is in the back organizing some kind of buddy system, the Hurt Business is here to make a statement. MVP says, wherever Retribution might be, the Hurt Business is officially open for business. MVP says, while others are worrying about where Retribution might strike next, the Hurt Business is calling them out. He goes on about how Retribution isn't tough, attacking people from behind in the shadows. That's what's tough is he, Benjamin and Lashley. MVP says he's always learned to follow the money. Who benefits the most from Retribution? Follow the money trail, and it leads to catering to WWE US Champion Apollo Crews and a band of merry pranksters. Ricochet, Mustafa Ali, and Cedric Alexander. MVP beat Crews. Bets Crews came up with the Retribution while he was at home on the couch. He goes on about why he thinks Crews is behind Retribution. Music interrupts. Out comes Crews with his title. Crews says he knows how MVP is, but to accuse him of being behind Retribution is pretty low. Crews says MVP is just trying to come up with a distraction before their title match at SummerSlam. But because MVP knows he can't beat Crews, they go on trading shots on the mic as Crews approaches the ringside area. Crews says if he can beat Shelton tonight, then Shelton and Lashley will be banned from ringside at SummerSlam. And we'll have to watch the match from catering. Crews says he will show MVP he just can't beat him without any help. MVP accepts and says there won't be any excuses at SummerSlam. Just results. Benjamin comes out and tries to attack, but it backfires and Crews hits the ring to stand tall and prepare for a fight. Staring the others down, we go to commercial. And we get Apollo Crews versus Shelton Benjamin. Not Apollo Crews versus MVP. Back for the break, this non-title match between US Champion Apollo Crews and Shelton Benjamin is underway as Benjamin pounds on Crews. Crews with a 2 count, but Shelton levels him with a clothesline as MVP cheers on from ringside. Shelton unloads in the corner now as Bobby Lashley looks on. Shelton whips Crews hard in the corner and goes down. Crews kicks out of 2. Crews ends up blocking pay dirt and hitting a big spine buster for a 2 count. Shelton counters a toss powerbomb with a big DDT in the middle of the ring. Crews kicks out at 2 as MVP screams and yells from ringside. Benjamin goes to powerbomb Crews, but 24/7 champion R-Truth runs into the ring with a Kiro Tozawa's ninjas right behind him. They run right out of the ring and up the ramp to the back. This leads to Crews taking advantage of the distraction, dropping Shelton for the quick pin and win. After the belt, Lashley and MVP immediately hit the ring and attack Crews. Mustafa Ali, Ricochet, and Cedric Alexander end up making the save. Lashley catches Cedric coming off the top with a full Nelson from Lashley. It takes Ali, Ricochet, and Crews to get Lashley's hold broken. They send him to the floor where MVP is standing. Truth comes running back down to the ramp to the ringside, but Shelton drops him on the floor, covering him to win the 24/7 title. So Shelton Benjamin gets his title back. MVP takes the mic and challenges Crews to fight to find 2 partners for a 6-man elimination tag team match later on. Per stipulation on Crews versus Benjamin, Lashley and Benjamin will now have to watch the US title match at SummerSlam from backstage as they are banned from ringside. Angel Garza backstage with Demi Burnett of The Bachelor for her 3rd straight appearance. Ivar interrupts and asks Demi if she wants to join the raid and be his +1 to Raw Underground. He hands her a turkey leg and she thanks him. Ivar accuses Garza of poisoning Raw Tag Team Champions Montez Ford. They have some words, and Garza promises to make him pay in their match. Garza throws the turkey leg to the floor, and Ivar has another handed to him by someone off screen. They end up walking off, leaving Burnett standing there with the turkey leg from Ivar and the rose from Garza. Back to commercial. Back to the break. Tom talks about the new WWE ThunderDome viewing experience that's going to debut on SmackDown from the Amway Center, as they announced that as well. Ivar versus Angel Garza. We go back to the ring, and Ivar comes off, faces off with Angel Garza. Bell rings, and Garza charges, but runs into a turnbuckle as Ivar moves. We see Andrade and Zelina Vega and Eric at ringside, watching the partners go at it. Ivar works Garza over some, but Garza ends up taking him down with a kick. Then taking his pants off, we see Demi Burnett watching the match from backstage. Raw Tag Team Champion Angelo Dawkins walks up to her and starts talking. Ivar counters and launches Garza with a big slam. Ivar levels Garza with a shoulder, then slams him in the middle ring. Ivar with a running splash to the mat. Ivar stands tall and yells out as the crowd rallies. Ivar with a running clothesline in the corner. And then another. Ivar waits for Garza to get back up. Garza slides out of a slam, but Ivar hits a big senton out of the corner for a close 2 count. Vega is worried at ringside. Ivar takes Garza to the top for a super back suplex. Garza fights him off and slams him face first into the top of the turnbuckle. Ivar is stunned, but he manages to knock Garza off the apron to the floor. Ivar runs the ropes for a dive out, but Vega stands in front of Garza and Ivar puts the brakes on. Ivar goes out and launches Garza into the apron and the plexiglass barrier. A few times, Ivar brings him back in the ring, but Andrade provides a distraction, and Garza decks him as he tries to come back in. Garza with a drop kick to the side of the hip face while Ivar is down. Pins him for the win. Angel Garza wins. After the match, Garza stands tall as the music plays. Andrade and Vega join him in the ring. Demi and Dawkins appear on the screen again. She congratulates him while Dawkins taunts. Demi indicates that she will be at SummerSlam to watch the tag team title match. Dawkins brings up Charlie Caruso, and Garza gets upset, telling him to mind his own business. Dawkins says, "We're about to find out a lot about Garza and the squad he runs with." They point to the side, and Garza is confused. The screen goes black. Garza exits the ring and runs to the back. Joe says something is about to come out, and it's good. Vega goes to Joe and demands to know what it is. Joe says, due to the actions of Retribution, WWE has recently gone over hundreds of hours of security footage. He bets Vega would be interested in seeing the footage because it shows how far some people are willing to go when they think no one is watching. Joe laughs as an angry Vega storms off, telling Andrade to follow. We go to commercial, like he's already seen the video. Garza walks up on Demi Burnett and Angelo Dawkins backstage. They have words, and here comes Zelina Vega with Andrade. More arguing. Charlie walks up and asks what's on the video. Dawkins is teasing because he's got it on his cell phone. He holds his cell phone up in the air, and he calls on someone to roll the footage. Tape. Video shows Vega apparently poisoning a red cup belonging to Ford. A few weeks ago, Caruso asked Vega what's up with the video, and Vega's shocked. Vega points to the finger at Caruso and says she's behind this because she's jealous over Garza upgrading to Demi. Dawkins ends up stepping up to Garza and Andrade. He talks down to them and says his brother wants to smoke. Ford suddenly returns as the Raw Tag Team Champions attack Andrade and Garza for a quick brawl. This matchup here I did not see because Raw was kind of getting boring. I fell asleep. Natalya versus Mickie James. Quick match anyways. We go to the ring. Mickie James is already facing off with Natalya. She didn't have an entrance on TV. Mickie is in the ring for her ring return. Lana is at ringside. So, something's going to happen. They go at it, but Lana distracts Mickie early on. allowing Natalya to beat her down in the corner as Lana films this for TikTok. Mickie makes a comeback and nails a Thesz press. Mickie mounts Natalya with rights and lefts. Natalya turns it back around, but Mickie drops her. Then has words with Lana. Mickie kicks Natalya when she gets up, then goes for the big DDT. Natalya counters, and they both collide with the clotheslines to go down in the middle of the ring. Seth Rollins and Murphy walk to the announce table. During the match, Rollins asks Joe how he knows Rey Mysterio will be here tonight. The action continues in the ring as Mickie mounts offense. Mickie drops Natalya and kicked up for a pop as Joe and Rollins continue arguing. Natalya ends up knocking Mickie to the floor as Lana plays her role at ringside. Lana yells at the referee as she counts. While Joe and Rollins continue their back and forth action, Mickie gets counted out. Winner of the match, Natalya. After the match, Natalya begins celebrating as the music hits. Lana is filming Mickie for TikTok at ringside. Mickie recovers and drops Lana on the floor. Rollins takes the mic now and continues yelling at Joe over not revealing his sources. Rollins says if Rey and Dominic spit in his face by showing up on his show tonight, it will be the last mistake they make, and neither of them will make it to SummerSlam. Rollins storms off to the back. Telecom segment, Baszler and Asuka versus Banks and Bayley. Back commercial. And by the way, that match was up next. Back for the break, out comes WWE Tag Team Champions, Sasha Banks and Bayley. They talk about Asuka's earning 2 title shots at SummerSlam. They act upset over the matches, but change their tune and say they can't wait because they will finally have a night off. They say Asuka thinks she's so smart by entering the Tri-Brand Battle Royal, but she's just stupid. They go on about Asuka being stupid. Banks says there's no chance in hell Asuka can beat them both in one night. They go back and forth over who will beat Asuka for first at SummerSlam. Bayley agrees to beat Asuka first, so Banks can then retain her title without breaking a sweat. Banks thanks her and says then finally they can go celebrate. Because life is good and no one can stop them. Bayley says they will celebrate all the way to payback before they will successfully defend their WWE Women's Tag Team titles, which is only 1 week apart. They take shots at various tag teams and joke about Kairi Sane being gone. Music interrupts, out comes Shayna Baszler. Baszler says whoever has the Raw Women's title after SummerSlam, she's next. Asuka's music hits, and out next she comes. Asuka rants down the ramp in Japanese and says tonight she will fight against both of them. And Baszler will have to fight with her. Before she fights against her, Baszler and Asuka storm the ring for a fight, but the champs retreat to the floor. Bayley starts with Asuka and takes her down in the corner. Banks comes in and tags out, allowing Bayley to ground Asuka to moves. Banks is off of another quick tag, and they keep Asuka grounded near their corner. Banks drops Asuka, then runs over to knock Baszler off the apron. Asuka comes back and levels Banks. Baszler gets up on the outside, but Nia Jax drops her through the plexiglass barrier, busting through the plexiglass. Baszler goes down. Jax climbs over the barrier as WWE producer Pat Buck, who suspended Jax without pay 2 weeks ago, comes out with officials. Baszler gets up and starts brawling with Jax into the crowd, as she was suspended from Raw. She also appeared later in the Raw Underground. The action continues in the ring as Asuka makes a comeback. Asuka knocks the champs off the apron with a hip attack, and they land on the floor as we go to commercial. Back from the break, Asuka is all alone now. Bayley works her over while she's down. Asuka kicks back from the mat. Bayley takes Asuka to the corner, and then comes Banks. They hit double suplex on, and Banks covers for a 2 count. Banks taunts Asuka while she's down. Mounting more offense, Asuka comes back with strikes. Asuka will roll up, but Banks rolls through and hits the Meteora for a 2 count. Banks talks more trash and sends Asuka to the corner face first. Bayley tags back in for another double team and a pin attempt. Bayley grounds Asuka. Now, Bayley continues to beat Asuka around the ring and then tag Banks back in. Banks and Bayley with another double team for a 2 count. Bayley tags back in for a double team slam in the middle of the ring, but Asuka hangs in there. Bayley goes to the top for a flying elbow, but Asuka gets her boots up. Bayley lands hard, and Asuka rolls her up for a 2 count. Asuka drops Bayley with a spinning back fist, but Banks tags in and hits a backstabber into the backstatement. Asuka calls for the bottom rope, but Baszler runs back down the ramp, hits the ring, and breaks the submission up. Baszler waits for the tag on the apron now as the crowd rallies. Asuka calls for the tag, and in comes Baszler. Banks swings, but blocks. Baszler unloads on Banks and hits a big running knee in the corner. Baszler with a sliding knee to the face while Banks is down. Baszler stomps on Banks' hand, but Banks rolls her up for a 2 count. Bayley tags in, and Baszler misses it. Baszler is going for the cure feeder clutch, but Banks hits a backstabber. Bayley follows up with a Bayley to belly suplex, but Baszler kicks out too. Baszler fights off the double team and sends Banks to the floor. Baszler with a gut wrench suplex to Bayley. Then another big knee. Banks gets Bayley out of the cover feeder touchdown. Asuka takes out Banks and ends up on the floor with her. With the Asuka lock applied, Banks is tapping on the floor. The chaos leads to Baszler dropping Bayley in the computer clutch as well. Bayley eventually taps out for the finish. Double tap out. Baszler and Asuka win. After the match, Baszler's music hits and she stands tall in the ring. Asuka's down on the floor, trying to recover. Just a few feet away on the floor are the Golden Role Models, also trying to recover. So the kind of segment, Heartbreak Kid is here. Back commercial. Back for the break. Tom says Rey Mysterio is here tonight. We get a lengthy video package looking at recent happenings between Seth Rollins and Dominic. Back for the break. WWE US Champion Apollo Crews is backstage with Ricochet, Cedric Alexander, and Mustafa Ali. Crews thanks them for having his back earlier. Crews says he's picked Ali and Lashley for the 6-man against the Hurt Business tonight. Cedric, who is still selling the full Lashley submission, isn't thrilled with this. Crews says he figured Cedric just needed the night off to rest. Cedric says he and Ricochet are supposed to be a tag team. Ali and Ricochet talk Cedric into just resting tonight, and he agrees. All 4 walk off together. Randy Orton walks over in deep thought about something. He watches them walk away and turns the other direction, staying in his thoughts. Back to commercial. Shawn Michaels backstage with Drew McIntyre now. Shawn understands Drew getting upset over Ric Flair, but he's got to calm down some because Orton is going to use all that anger against him. Shawn says Drew needs to refocus and kick Orton's head off at SummerSlam. Shawn says Drew has gone too far and worked too hard to mess this up for himself. Drew talks about becoming a WWE champion, also thanking Shawn for his help along the way. Drew can't help but be mad because of what Orton has done to legends as of late. Shawn admits Drew's journey has been tough, but that's what WWE Champions is all about. He says all that adversity is tailor-made for Drew McIntyre, and he won't let anyone down. Shawn recalls how Drew continued to work hard and watch film with him while Drew was injured. That's the Drew McIntyre Shawn knows. The one who beat Brock Lesnar and set the WWE title free from being held hostage. Shawn tells Drew he deserves to be where he's at, and he needs to go into SummerSlam and show the world who he is. Shawn also needs Drew to promise he will give him his space, and when he goes to the ring to confront Orton, Shawn walks off and Drew thanks him. Tom says he will hear from Shawn again later. He hypes Orton versus McIntyre SummerSlam on Sunday. Iconics are backstage with Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan again. Billie Kay reveals that Peyton Royce will take her place in the match against Riot tonight. Peyton hesitates, but she's all for it. They call Liv trash, and Ruby steps up to them, telling them to never call her that again, or else. Liv pulls Riot away as the Iconics mock them. Camera pans and we see Shayna Baszler talking to other horsewomen, Jessamine Duke, and Marina Shafir from NXT. Iconics wonder who they are. Back to commercial. Back for the break, and Tom leads us to a video page on what Retribution has done in the last few weeks. Ruby Riott versus Peyton Royce was up next. We got the ring for Iconic, and the Iconics are out. Peyton Royce with Billie Kay. Ruby Riott is also out with Liv Morgan. The bell rings and they go to a tit. Royce with a big takedown and strikes. Brawl continues and Riott hits a standing SEO for a 2 count. They end up on the floor and Riott keeps control, sending Royce into the very few times as the referee counts. Riott breaks the count and goes back out, but Royce counters, whipping her into the barrier. Royce brings it back in and they tangle. Royce with a knee to the face for a 2 count. More back and forth. Riott unloads in the corner with strikes. Riott charges with a big strike, a big elbow, and another to drop Royce in the corner. Riott runs and kicks Royce in the head. Royce rolls to the floor for a breather. Riott stays on the top of Royce and runs the apron and hits crossbody to the floor as Liv looks on. Kay ends up having words with Liv on the floor. Riott is also there. Royce ends up coming from behind and shoving Riott into Liv, sending Liv face first to the floor. Royce takes advantage and brings Riott back in the ring for the deja vu, then covering her for the pin and the win. Winning the match, Peyton Royce. After the match, Iconics stand tall as the music plays. We go to replays. Iconics taunt Liv and Riott again from the ramp as they recover in the ring. We see Shane McMahon and his security guard, Jordan Ogmagmahin. In the back, it's almost time for Raw Underground. Shane has the big man open the door and he walks in. We go to commercial. Back for the break, Raw Underground host Shane McMahon walks us through another series of fights. The male and female extras stand around the ring, cheering and beating on the mat. Shane looks on as Eric faces off with the enhancement talent. They go at it, and Eric controls, but the kid, as Shane calls him, keeps coming. Eric keeps him down and fights. As Shane says, that's enough. Stops the match. Ivar comes in and joins Eric as he stands tall over the win. Dolph Ziggler is at ringside now with Shane. Shane congratulates Eric and asks Ziggler how he would rate Eric's performance. Ziggler says it was alright, giving it a 4 out of 10. Eric calls Ziggler to the platform. Ziggler accepts and hops on the apron as the crowd cheers him on. He wants a match. Ziggler and Eric go at it now. They fight and tangle up until Ziggler gets the upper hand on the mat. They come back up and Eric slams Ziggler. They get back up and go at it with some more until Ziggler hops on Eric's back with a sleeper. Eric tries to take him down to get him off, but Ziggler keeps the hold applied. Ziggler with a thumb to the eye. He falls back. Still with a sleeper, hold applied. And that's it for the fight. Ivar suddenly attacks out of nowhere and sends Ziggler flying off the platform to the floor. Shane runs over and says that's enough. Shane says we will be back to Raw Underground tonight. We go back to the ring. Out comes Rey Mysterio with his son Dominic. We see shots of the marks on Dominic's body after last week's kendo stick beatdown and attack by Seth Rollins and Murphy. Rey says there's one word he's experienced since the eye for an eye match at Extreme Rules: pain. Pain at first because of what Rollins did to his eye. But even worse, pain because of what Rollins did to his son. Rollins says watching his firstborn cry into pain, while there was nothing he could do about it, made him feel a rage that he's never felt before. Rey tells Dominic he needed to be there to protect him, to stop bleeding, to take it himself. Rey says he may not be fully recovered from Extreme Rules, and there's a chance he may never fully recover. But there's no doctor on this earth that will stop him from protecting his son. The crowd rallies for Ray. Ray, who has a cover over one eye of his mask, addresses Rollins and says he will be in Dominic's corner to watch him kick Rollins' butt at SummerSlam. Dominic says he appreciates that, but he knew what he was getting into when he signed his contract to become a WWE star, and he knows what he has to do to protect their family. Dominic says he will be ready. They hug. Ray says Dominic has no idea how proud of a father he is. He loves his son so much and admires his fight, determination, and will to fight for the family name. Ray knows his son will be ready to kick some butt, and if Rollins gets anywhere near them tonight, he'll be the one who doesn't make it to SummerSlam. Rollins and Murphy appear on the big screen, and the crowd boos. Rollins can't believe they came tonight. He didn't take Ray for an idiot, coming to Rollins' ring and putting Dominic in harm's way. This close to SummerSlam, Rollins says Ray is doing this for his own personal glory because it's always been about Ray. He's so selfish. What kind of father are you? Rollins goes on and says all this could have been prevented if Ray accepted his role in the greater good. But Ray has hurt, and it got him in the way his son got hurt. Rollins says it won't just be Ray and his son who are hurt. It will end up being the Ray Mysterio name and legacy that gets sacrificed. Ray challenges Rollins to come into the ring and back up his big words. Rollins asks, "What's wrong with Ray? He has one eye, and his kid can barely stand." Rollins warns Ray that he asked for this. Don't move. Rollins and Murphy walk off as Ray and Dominic wait in the ring. Music hits, and out comes Rollins and Murphy. Ray and Dominic hit the floor as soon as Rollins and Murphy enter the ring. Rollins tells Ray to back up his words now. Rollins and Murphy taunt him. Ray tells Dominic to wait near the timekeeper's area as he teases getting in the ring. Dominic pulls a few kendo sticks from the timekeeper's area. Ray distracts Rollins and Murphy from the floor while Dominic enters the ring and unloads on both challengers with the kendo sticks. Murphy gets sent to the floor. Ray and Dominic unload on Rollins with the kendo stick. Shots down. They tie Rollins up in the ropes, but here comes Murphy. Dominic meets him with the kendo stick. Rollins slides out of the ropes and retreats to the floor, as does Murphy. Murphy regroups on the stage as Murphy runs away. Music hits and Raymond hits as Ray and Dominic stand tall together in the ring. So to come segment, more from Shawn Michaels. Cedric Alexander backstage when MVP walks up and sits next to him. Cedric isn't happy as he asks MVP what he wants. MVP tries to come in between Cedric and his friend. Cedric accuses him of stirring the pot. MVP goes on and tries to make Cedric question Ricochet and Apollo Crews. MVP says he made an offer to Cedric a while ago and that offer still stands. For now, MVP walks off and Cedric thinks. Then angrily shows his water bottle back to commercial. Back to the break, Tom announces Raw Tag Team Champions, Street Profits, Lana, and Natalia for Raw Talk later on the WWE Network. We go back to Shane in the Raw Underground. He introduces Arturo Ruiz and Riddick Moss for the next fight. They start going at it, and the extras cheer them on, and Shane works the mic. The brawl goes back and forth for a few minutes until they tumble to the floor. Still going at it, they end up dropping a few of the extras and facing off as Shane gives them props for the fight. Shane says Raw Underground will return. 6-man elimination match, Hurt Business versus Apollo Crews, Ricochet, and Mustafa Ali. Shelton Benjamin. Yeah. Back to the ring, and U.S. champion Apollo Crews waits with his partners. Ricochet and Mustafa Ali. Out next comes the Hurt Business, MVP Bobby Lashley 24/7 champion, Cedric Shelton Benjamin. Tom shows us what led to this match, including Shelton's title win over R-Truth during the earlier chaos. Shelton and Ali start things off. Shelton drops Ali in the corner. Ali comes back and grounds Shelton by his arm. Ali tags in Ricochet for a double team out of the corner. Shelton shoves Ricochet off, but Ricochet comes back to drop him with an insecurity for a 2 count. Ali comes back in, but Shelton knocks him down. Lashley tags in and runs right over Ali, then knocks the other 2 off the apron. Lashley goes back to Ali and hits a Dominator in the middle of the ring. Lashley covers for the pin, and Ali is eliminated. Ricochet comes back in and unloads on Lashley with strikes. Lashley catches Ricochet and lifts him up high in the air, then spikes him into the mat. Benjamin comes back in and hits pay dirt on Ricochet. In the middle of the ring, Benjamin stares at Cruz and covers Ricochet for the pin. Ricochet has been eliminated. The crowd rallies for Cruz as he comes in. Benjamin fights him off, but Cruz sends Shelton into the top turnbuckle. Cruz follows up with a toss powerbomb for the pin. Shelton has been eliminated. MVP finally looks a bit concerned now. He comes in, but Cedric Alexander suddenly runs down the ramp, rolling up Shelton at ringside to capture the 24/7 title. Cedric laughs and runs to the stage with the title as big as MVP, Shelton, and Lashley look on. Go to commercial. Back from the break, MVP beats Cruz down in the corner. MVP launches Cruz into turnbuckles, and he goes down again. MVP tosses Cruz to the floor as the referee counts. MVP sends Cruz into the apron and brings him back in for a 2 count. Lashley tags in for some double teaming. Lashley unloads on Cruz in the corner, beating him down, putting the boots into him. Lashley with a running shoulder, ducks in the corner. MVP tags in and hits a running big boot to the face, but Cruz kicks out of MVP's confident cover. MVP shows some frustration as Lashley looks on. Cruz looks to turn it around now. MVP misses a boot in the corner. Cruz comes right back with a toss power bomb for the pin, and MVP has been eliminated. Lashley runs right into and unloads on Cruz while he's still down for the pin. Lashley whips Cruz into the apron, into the ropes, but Cruz nails a flying shoulder block. Cruz with 2 kicks to the back of the neck, bringing Lashley to his knees. Cruz with an insecurity to bring him down, then a standing moonsault for a 2 count. Lashley avoids a toss power bomb and goes for the full Lashley again. They tackle and counter, but Lashley comes right back with a spear in the middle of the ring. Lashley covers for the pin and the win. Hurt Business win the match. After the match, MVP and Benjamin join Lashley in the ring as the music hits. They taunt Cruz while he's down, then pose over him. MVP kneels down to talk some trash in Cruz's face as Tom hypes their match on Sunday. And also plug Sunday's SummerSlam pay-per-view on the WWE Network. We see Shane McMahon backstage talking to Shayna Baszler, Jessamine Duke, and Marina Shafir. Apparently about Raw Underground back to commercial. 24/7 title match, Akira Tozawa versus Shelton Benjamin. Now, wait a minute. Didn't Shelton get pinned earlier? Well, I guess Shelton Benjamin got the pin. Back for the break, Akira Tozawa is in the ring, wins 24/7 champion, Cedric Alexander, and the title is on the line. Back and forth to start the match. We see the Hurt Business watching backstage. Tozawa ends up stopping and calling on his ninjas, but Cedric isn't bothered. Cedric keeps going, but Tozawa drops him after some back and forth. Tozawa goes to the top, but has to roll through. Cedric follows up with a neuralizer and a low bar check for the pin to retain. After the match, Cedric stands tall, but the title is immediately placed. Go to replays. We see what happened earlier with the Raw Underground, Dolph Ziggler versus Ibarra's announcement next week. We go back to Raw Underground Arena. Shane is preparing to introduce Marina Shafir for her debut, but before she can finish the intro, Shafir attacks the enhancement talent, and they start brawling. Shayna Baszler, Jessamine Duke, watch from ringside with the other talents. Shafir brawls with the enhancement talent, ends up making her submit. Shafir stands tall, but Nia Jax suddenly drops her from behind. My conclusion to Raw. After all, it is 3 hours, and my other news went too long. Baszler hits the platform and has words for Jax. They size each other up, and Shane hypes the fight up. The bell sounds, but Jax rolls to the floor to boos. Shane says the only rule is you have to fight. Jax walks off. Fans chant about Jax being scared. Duke and Xavier join Baszler in the ring as they look out for Jax. Shane tells the fans to join Raw Underground again next week. Back to commercial. Andrade versus Montez Ford is up next. Back for the break. Raw Tag Team Champions are out. Montez Ford with Angelo Dawkins. Andrade is also out with Zelina Vega and Angel Garza. Back and forth start. Ford ends up hitting a huge leap to the floor to take Andrade down as Vega and Garza look on. They go to the top. Andrade takes the show. Ford resists the superplex, but Andrade hits it for a 2 count. Ford fights up from the mat, but Andrade rocks him and stumbles back to one knee. Ford comes back with a big clothesline. Ford mounts some more momentum and hits a standing moonsault for a close 2 count. Andrade sends Ford back with a shot to the chest. Ford comes back with a big hurricane, bringing Andrade down from the top. Ford gets hyped up, and Vega gets on the apron for a distraction. Also distracting the referee as they go to the top. Bianca Belair ends up running down to defend her husband. Vega jumps off the apron, but Belair catches her crossbody. Belair slams Vega on the floor. The chaos leads to Ford rolling the distracted Andrade up for the pin and the win. After the match, Street Profits and Belair regroup on the ramp, celebrate, and go to replays. Vega and her crew try to recover as Belair and the Profits celebrate. Shawn Michaels backstage with walking. He greets Titus O'Neil, Humberto Carrillo, and R-Truth. Back to commercial. We go back to the ring. Out comes the Hall of Famer, Shawn Michaels. The crowd chants HBK as Shawn takes the mic. He says he wishes he was here on a more exciting note, but he wants us to look at something. We see a clip of last week's emotional speech by WWE Hall of Famer Ric Flair to Randy Orton, right before Orton attacked the Nature Boy. Shane now gets emotional when talking about Flair. He says without Flair, some of WWE's greats wouldn't exist. Batista, Edge, Triple H, Michaels himself, The Big Show, others. Shawn goes on about Flair and says that goes for Orton too, but he doesn't respect or care for Flair like the others. He goes on about Orton not being appreciative, not having the gratitude that the others greats have, feeling like he was owed everything and deserved everything. Shawn can't promise how it will happen, but it's going to happen. Orton will either meet his justice at SummerSlam on the end of a sweet chin music or a Claymore from WWE Champion Drew McIntyre. But he promises Orton will see it coming at SummerSlam. Music interrupts and Shawn turns to leave, but Orton attacks from behind, dropping Shawn with an RKO out of nowhere. Orton immediately follows up with a punt kick to Shawn as the boos gets louder. McIntyre rushes the ring, but Orton retreats to where the empty seats are. Drew stares him down, and then checks on Shawn, yelling for help to come out. Orton tries to sneak attack again, but Drew fights him off, sending him to the floor. Drew follows and launches Orton into the steps and a barrier, sending him face first into the plexiglass twice. Drew tosses Orton over the announce table, now as the crowd cheers him on. Drew goes back in to check on Shawn again to apologize to him. Orton runs back in, and Drew turns around to the RKO. Orton stares Drew down as the music starts back up, and the boos get louder. Drew clutches his neck as Orton slithers out of the ring. Drew struggles to get to his feet as Orton stares him down from the stage. They stare each other down as the final Raw before SummerSlam goes off the air. That concludes Raw. But what happened after Raw went off the air? Comments from this segment there, the end of the show. Several fans and one WWE legend took to Twitter after SummerSlam's no-hold edition of Raw and gave negative feedback to how WWE Hall of Famers Shawn Michaels sold the RKO and punt kick from Orton. Not just a WWE legend, but his girlfriend as well. This week's Raw closing segment saw Orton drop Michaels with an RKO, then quickly deliver a punt kick. The criticism came quick on social media over how Shawn barely sold the moves from Orton's arsenal and was back up on his feet as the show went off the air. Hall of Famer Bubba Ray Dudley commented on how Michaels quickly recovered. He wrote, an RKO and a punt to the head from Randy Effin Orton, and Shawn is on his feet. Velvet Sky agreed with her husband, writing, so Shawn takes Orton's RKO plus punt to the head and sets himself up in the corner and tries to get up like nothing happened. Basically, no selling both moves. No. Way to bury Randy. Then Drew takes the RKO alone and stays down selling like you're supposed to. Complete disrespect to Orton by Shawn. When a fan stated that Michaels sold the move with his facial expressions, Sky replied, when you take someone's finish, it's more than just your face you sell. Imagine, for instance, me taking Kong's implant buster and trying to get up or crawl away and only selling with my facial expressions. You just don't do that. It's very disrespectful to the person executing the move. WWE superstar Lio Rush also reacted, noting that the 2008 version of the Heartbreak Kid would have sold the punt kick into the next month. 2008, Shawn would have sold the punt kick until next month. Rush wrote in a tweet that was deleted sometime this afternoon. It appears Rush has deleted his entire account, so he's no longer on Twitter. Also noted in the original report, the Raw angle with Michaels, Orton, and Drew McIntyre, Michaels may have teased an appearance at Sunday's SummerSlam pay-per-view for the match, so he may be in the corner for that match. Thanks again. See you that concludes my comments on what happened after all. Thanks again. Peace out. See you on me. If you have a long brothers and sisters, just call me.